The smoked glass door closed in Camilla's face with a dry sound that echoed through the marble corridor. "You have already delivered the food. You can leave," the voice came on the other side. Cold, sharp. It was the security guard, a black man with a black suit that looked at her as if she were an unwanted insect. "Mr. Heiter does not receive delivery inside the meeting room." Camilla held the thermal backpack on her back, feeling the heat rise through the neck. Behind the glass she saw the panic room. 6 programmers around a giant table, deleted screens, disconnected cables, a smell of old coffee and despair. In the center, a gray-haired man rubbed his face with both hands. "I just wanted to warn you," she tried, but the security guard was already pushing her by the shoulder. "To warn?" He laughed, turning to his colleagues at the reception. "The girl comes to deliver a hamburger and wants to consult to Heitor Mendez." "Do you think is who, girl?" The others laughed. One of them, a blue shirt boy, took his eyes off the computer screen just to make a leave here gesture with his hand. The receptionist, perfect red nail blonde, nor disguised the look of contempt. "Let her go, Rodrigo," said the receptionist, typing again. "People like that love to invent that you understand richly. You must have seen something on the screen and thought it was a hacker. You will deliver your snack, honey, and let adults work." Camilla felt the weight of humiliation descends like lead. It was not the first time. It wouldn't be the last one, but it hurt the same way. It hurt because she knew. He knew what was happening in that room, recognized the signs. I had seen it before, not as a delivery, but as a software engineer. First and foremost, collapse. Before being fired from Neurotech for not fitting into the company's profile. Before spending 3 months sending resumes that were never read. Before accepting that to the world a 28-year-old black woman without pompous surname was not seen as a professional. She was seen as a service. She took a deep breath and turned to the exit, and then heard. "We lost everything." Heitor Mendez's voice crossed the door, hoarse, trembling. 3 years of work, 40 million in offshore accounts. The backups are corrupted. All, and none of you, none, could not even identify the origin of the attack. Camilla stopped in the middle of the hall. "Your heart has accelerated." She knew that tone. He had heard before the day he was fired, when his former boss shouted the same words in the meeting room. "We lost the contract. We lost everything because of a security failure that no one predicted." And no one wanted to hear that she had warned about the vulnerability 3 weeks earlier. No one wanted to hear because the one who warned her, the only black woman on the team who talked too much, the one who didn't have enough experience. No one listens to a delivery, but she heard the rest. "We call the best in Europe," Hector continued, now lower, defeated. "You charged 80,000 for the emergency consultancy. They promised me that they were going to solve in 12 hours, and now they tell me it's impossible. Should I negotiate with the hackers?" Tense silence. A dragged voice with foreign accent replied, "Mr. Mendez, with all due respect, this is a government-level attack. Cryptography layers, persistent rootkits, firmware backdoors. There is no viable technical solution within time you have. The only way out is to pay the ransom before—" "Before what?" Hector exploded. Something hit the table. "Before I lose the rest? I've lost half of the company. I already lost the confidence of investors. And you, the best in Europe, want me to kneel me to a criminal?" Camilla closed her eyes. I knew exactly what had happened. I had seen the notebook screen open to the table when delivering the food minutes before. I had seen the code running in loop, the error red lines, the execution pattern, the attack signature. I knew that. Double ransomware with persistent rootkit and legitimate update mask. It was not impossible. It was rare. It was sophisticated. It required deep knowledge of system architecture and reverse engineering. But it was not impossible, and she knew how to solve. She turned slowly, facing the security look. "Let me take a look," he said firmly. Rodrigo crossed his arms, blocking the door. "I already sent you away, girl. Does not force me to call. 30 million have just left the reserve account." The scream exploded from the room, followed by the glass sound breaking. Someone gives me a solution now, or I swear to God what a process each of you for neglect and incompetence." Hurried steps. Overlapping voices. Panic. Camilla stepped forward, facing Rodrigo. "I can reverse it," he said, the low but firm voice. "Give me 5 minutes. 5. If I get nothing, you expel me and never come back here. But if I can, you save millions." Rodrigo looked at her from the top to the bottom. He saw the thermal backpack with the delivery app logo. He saw the red uniform, spent on the edges. Saw the skin black. He saw curly hair stuck in a quick bun. He saw the beaten sneakers, and laughed. "Of course. You will solve what 6 Swiss engineers formed in MIT failed." He made a wide, sarcastic gesture. "I'm sorry, but what's your background? Master delivery and hamburger?" The receptionist released a muffled laugh. "Rodrigo, too," she said without conviction, still smiling. The girl is desperate to be seen. Let her go. Otherwise it will give a problem. Camila squeezed her fists. He felt his anger climb. Hot, sharp, but it was not anger at now. It was accumulated anger. Of each door closed. Of each ignored curriculum. Each time you heard you have no profile. Each time your name was cut from a promotion list. Of each interview in which it was treated as curiosity, not as a candidate. But before it could answer, the door opened. Heitor Mendez was standing in the pale, sweating, the red-eyed red eyes. He was holding his cell phone so hard that his fingers trembled. He took a deep breath. Did you say you can reverse? Camila swallowed dry. He felt all his eyes on her, of the security, of the programmers behind Heitor, of the receptionist who had stopped typing, from the other security guard at the entrance that now was looking. Yes, he said firmly, but I need root access and a clean terminal. No supervision, without intermediaries, and without anyone interrupting me. Hector studied her for 3 seconds that looked like 3 hours, analyzed her face. The eyes decided, the erect posture despite the humiliation. Something in him recognized desperation, not hers but his, and in despair people take impossible bets. He took a step to the side. Enter. Rodrigo opened his mouth to protest. Mr. Mendez, with all due respect, you cannot leave a strange access your systems. It can be anything. It can be accomplice of hackers. It may be the only person in this building that has not yet disappointed me today. Hector cut him with a cold look. Get out the front. Camila entered, the backpack still in the back, feeling the dense and hostile silence of the room. 6 white men, tailored suits, Swiss watches, state-of-the-art laptops, observed it as if she were an exotic animal in a corporate zoo. The left, tall, blonde, square jaw, crossed his arms and shook his head, unbelieving. Hector, this is crazy. You will bet on the security of the company Speak, Camila said, turning to him. What? He hesitated. The others looked at the look. A second programmer, thin, brand glasses, 2 gel hair, laughed softly, nervous. Hector, with all due respect, are you going to let the deer move your system? She should barely know the difference between RAM and ROM. Maybe you have seen a hacker movie and thought he could help. Another in a condescending tone like a child. Look, girl, I understand that you want to impress, but this is serious. There are millions. These are complex systems that take years of study to understand. We worked for governments, for central banks, and you want us to believe you? He paused, leaving the air in the air. Can we do what we didn't get? Camila didn't look away. I don't want you to believe anything, he said, taking the backpack out of his back and slowly putting it on the floor. I just want 5 minutes at the terminal. If I don't solve, you can laugh at me later. If I solve, you can leave. Silence. Hector turned to the team, the low but dangerous voice. You told me, 40 minutes ago, it was impossible to reverse, that the data were lost, that I should accept defeat and negotiate with hackers paying $15 million. He pointed to the main screen where red numbers flashed. And as you debated protocols and methodologies, another 10 million disappeared from the accounts. So now, I'll let the girl try. And if she gets what you couldn't, each of you returns every penny I paid. And never put your feet in this company again. The silence was now absolute. Camila felt the knot in her throat. It wasn't just about Heitor's money. It wasn't just about solving a technical problem. It was about every time they said she wasn't good enough, that did not have the right formation, that did not fit into the profile, which was question of time, until she realized that this world was not for her. It was about proving, not to them, but to herself, that she was still the one. Engineer, competent, able. Where's the terminal? He asked, his voice firm. Hector pointed to the main table. Camila sat in the leather chair, adjusted the height, pulled the keyboard, and saw the screen was chaotic. Corrupted code, shuffled control lines, processes running in loop, opened and closed network doors simultaneously, false trails in dozens of different directions. A digital maze made to confuse, to despair, to make it seem impossible. But she recognized the signature. I had seen it before, not at work, not in college course. In the underground cybersecurity competition, 5 years ago when he was a student, a clandestine group named Phantom Grid created indestructible challenges and offered awards for those who could break. She had been the only one to decipher the code. No one believed it had been her. They thought he had copied, that someone had done for her. No one believed in her at the time, too. His fingers began to fly along the keyboard, fast, accurate. Do you have a backup of DNS logs of the last 7 days? He asked, without taking his eyes off the screen. One of the programmers snorted. Of course we have. We have already analyzed 3 times. There is nothing there. No external entrance door. They analyzed wrong, Camila countered, dried, opening 3 terminals at the same time. The attack did not come in public DNS. It came by masked internal route as a legitimate update of the operating system. You were looking for viruses. They should have sought permissions. The Glasses programmer frowned, leaning over the table. How do you know? Access the log. Camilla cut. Typing commands at speed. Last week filter. System events. Execution with kernel privilege. Now. Hector made a gesture. The reluctant man opened the side panel in a notebook. Camilla scanned the lines as they rolled on the screen. Thousands of events. Routines. Maintenance. Backups. Updates. But there, 3 events, disguised as automatic system routines. Technical names. Normal timestamps, but with fractions of second displaced. More milliseconds. At intervals impossible to happen naturally. She copied the 3 hashes, opened a hexadecimal decompiler, rolled a reverse signature analysis, crossed with known exploit databases, and began dismantling the layer code. The programmers looked at each other, unbelievers. Is she doing reverse engineering live? One of them murmured, amazed. Without automated tools, straight to the gross terminal, another added, the voice disappearing. Impossible, the blonde with crossed arms whispered. No one does it manually. It takes hours, days. Camilla ignored. There was no hours. I had no days. It was 5 minutes before Hightor losing patience. It was 5 minutes before being expelled again, humiliated again, invisible again. Your fingers hurt. Her heart was hitting rapidly, but she was inside, tracking, disassembling the layers, following the trail of code as who follows footprints in the snow, and then saw the origin, the input, IP. She stopped, reread, checked again. Internal. Hector, she said, her voice controlled but firm. The attack did not come from outside. He approached, leaning over her shoulder, his eyes fixed on the screen. Like this? Camilla pointed to the line of code. Hacker had internal administrative access, legitimate root credentials. He planted the code inside the corporate network, did not have to invade. He was already inside, and by the log of activity, his fingers flew again, accessing the history of connections of the last 30 days. He is still active. Now. Right now. Impossible. The Glasses programmer rage. Step ahead. All our systems have double authentication, biometrics, real-time access logs, digital certificates. No one can circumvent it all. Nobody. Someone with legitimate root credentials don't have to circumvent. Camilla cut him, turning his head slightly. You can mask logs, may change records, you can erase tracks, and by the standard of activity hours, the output doors used, the data structure accessed. She clicked, opened another window full of lines of code. This person is not far away. She turned the chair and faced the 6 programmers. This person is in this room. The silence was absolute. No one breathed. Hector stepped back, his hand shaking on the back of his chair. What are you saying? Her voice was a hoarse whisper. Camilla slowly stood up, her eyes walking every face. I'm saying one of you is the hacker. Camilla found that the attack came from within. Someone in the room betrayed Hector. One of the most expensive programmers in Europe stole everything. But who and why? And now that she has exposed the truth, will it be a lie from that room? The 6 programmers looked at each other, unbelievers. No one spoke, no one moved. The air of the room was heavy, dense, as if someone had sucked oxygen. Hector broke the silence, the hoarse voice. Are you sure? What are you saying? Camilla nodded without looking away from the screen. Absolute. The attack was exec'd by someone with valid administrative credentials, someone who knows the system architecture inside, someone who knew exactly where the vulnerabilities were. She pointed to a line of code, and someone who is still connected to the network right now. The blonde programmer with cross arms gave a short, nervous laugh. This is ridiculous. We are the security team. We were hired to protect the system. Why would we do that? $15 million. Camilla replied, simple. It's the value of the ransom you suggested to pay. Half goes to the hackers. The other half, she paused, is who made the attack easier. Silence. Hector stepped ahead, his pale face. Show the tests. Camilla took a deep breath. Its fingers flew down the keyboard, opening overlapping windows. Access logs, connection history, timestamps, masked IP addresses. She crossed information, compared patterns, isolated anomalies, and then stopped. There, a single internal IP that had accessed the central server 3 times in the last 48 hours, always outside business hours, always from different places inside the building, always masked as automatic maintenance. But the automatic maintenance system no longer existed. It had been disabled 6 months ago by order of Hector himself. This IP, Camilla pointed out, was used to plant malicious code. He accessed the system core, changed permissions, created backdoors, and left ransomware hibernating to the right time. What is the IP? Hector asked tense. Camilla clicked. The information appeared on the screen. 192, 168, quiet 147. Hector turned to the programmers, the dark eyes of anger. Does anyone know who this IP is? No one answered. I asked who this IP is, he shouted, hitting his hand on the table. The pale glasses programmer opened his notebook with trembling fingers. I will check the list of registered devices. As he typed, Camilla felt the weight of the eyes on her. Suspicion, fear, anger, but also something new, reluctant respect. She had done in 10 minutes what they couldn't get in 12 hours. She took the silence to think. I knew this type of attack. I had studied similar cases in college. I had seen good people if you corrupt for money. I had seen people lose everything because they trusted the wrong people. Just like her, 3 years earlier, Camilla was in the Neurotech meeting room, while 6 white men of suit looked at her with expressions ranging from irritation and disdain. You did not understand your role here, Camilla, said the director of IT, a bald man with gold glasses. You were hired to execute, not to question, let alone send alarmist reports to the board without permission. I did not send anything without permission, she countered, the firm but contained voice. I warned you 3 weeks ago that the firewall failure was critical. You ignored it. I warned again. You said I was exaggerating. And now the company has lost Petrodata's contract for data leakage. So you disrespected the hierarchy. He cut her, hitting his hand on the table. And now you want to blame me? In the team? Do you think you know more than everyone here because you read some books and passed a quota contest? Camilla felt the word quotas burn like acid. I passed first. No quota. And you know that. It doesn't matter, he said, opening a folder. You created a toxic environment. Your colleagues complained that you are hard to work. That questions too much. That does not accept feedback. He slid a paper on the table. We're turning off you for just cause. Professional misconduct and insubordination. Camilla took the paper, read the accusations. All false. All signed by colleagues she had helped, who had copied her code, who had been promoted while she was standing still. You'll regret it, she said, her voice low but firmly. When the next leak happens, you will remember that I warned. Threats now? The director laughed. Get out of here before I call security. She left. 2 months later, Neurotech suffered the largest cyber attack in the company's history, lost 80% of customers, bankrupt in 6 months. No one called to thank her for warning. No one apologized. Back to the present. I thought, the glasses programmer said, his voice shaking. IP 192.168.147 belongs to, he swallowed dry, to a corporate notebook registered in the name of Christoph Vanderberg. Everyone turned to the blonde programmer with crossed arms. Christoph, he blinked confused. Wait, my notebook? This is crazy. I didn't use it in the last 48 hours. I was using the meeting room desktop. Someone must have cloned my IP or stolen my credentials. Or, where were you last night at 11:47 p.m.? Camilla asked, her eyes fixed on him. Christoph hesitated. And you, at home, sleeping. Lie, Camilla said, pointing to the screen. The system recorded physical access to the building with its badge at 11:51 p.m. You entered. It was 14 minutes, and left. The silence was sharp. Christoph opened his mouth, closed, opened again. I came back because I forgot my charger. Just that. I took it and left. And did you access the central server? Camilla pressed. No, he exploded. I took my charger and left. Anyone may have used my badge. Anyone can have. The biometric system registered its digital on the date of data center at 11:53 p.m. Camilla showed the log. You not only entered the building, entered the server room. Alone. Christoph got white. Hector stepped forward, the low, dangerous voice. You stole me. No, I swear not. I just went to check one thing. A temperature alert on server 3. It was a protocol. At 11 p.m. at night? Camilla cut him. Without warning anyone? Without registering in the maintenance system? Christoph breathed fast, his eyes jumping from one face to the other, seeking support. You so crazy. Do you so believing in it? In a delivery that appeared out of nowhere? She may have planted these logs. It may have hacked the system right now. How do you know she's not hacker? Camilla sighed. I waited for that. Because I haven't had access to your systems for 3 years, he said calmly. Because I don't know anyone here. Because I have nothing to earn lying. And because, she clicked, opening another window. The navigation history of your notebook shows that you researched like masking internal IP and ransomware double tutorial 4 days ago. Christoph was frozen. The other programmers slowly moved away from him, as if he had a contagious disease. Hector clenched his fists. You will return every penny. Each penny. I did nothing, Christoph shouted, desperate. You have no proof. This can all be forged. She can have. Someone accessed the cryptocurrency wallet where the money was transferred. Camilla interrupted him, still typing. And that someone used a VPN. But VPN was configured at 10:14 p.m. yesterday, of its residential IP. She turned the screen. There it was. The complete log. The VPN configuration. The time. The address. Residential address 847 Acacia Street, apartment 302. The Glasses programmer checked on his cell phone. It's his address, he confirmed, his voice disappearing. Christoph retreated, hitting the back of his chair. No, you don't understand. I needed, they promised me that. They? Hector advanced. Who is them? Christoph looked around, arrested with no way out, and then exploded to the door. But Rodrigo, the security guard, was already there, blocked the exit. Christoph tried to push him but was easily dropped on the floor. Loose, he shouted, struggling. You don't understand, I had no choice, they have my daughter. They said that if I didn't do that, they were going, He started to cry. Hector crouched beside him, the stone face. Who has your daughter? Christoph shook his head, sobbing. I can't talk. They will kill her. Please. Camilla felt a cold in her spine. This was bigger than it seemed. She returned to the terminal, typing fast. If Christoph was being coerced, then he was not the brain. It was just the tool. The real hacker was still out there, and still had control. She accessed the backup server, looking for hidden active connections, and found a second connection. Active. Now. Someone was inside the system right now, watching, listening, maybe even seeing. If they had access to the cameras. Camilla froze. He looked up. The security camera in the corner of the room had a flashing green light. They were being observed. Hector, she said low, controlling the panic. I need to turn off all cameras. Now. Why? Because who's behind it is seeing us. Hector looked at the camera. So to her. Hold down. Camilla typed the command. The green lights went out. And in the same second, the Christoph notebook dropped on the table, lit alone. A message appeared on the screen. White letters in black background. Very clever delivery, but not smart enough. Everyone looked. The message continued. You have 10 minutes to return your access or daughter dies. And then, a photo. A blonde girl, about 7 years old, gagged, tied in a chair, tears running down her face. Christoph shouted, No, please. I did everything you sent. The message has changed. You failed. Now she pays. And a timer appeared. Arrow 9:47, arrow 9:46, arrow 9:45. Camilla found out who planted the attack. But Christoph was just a play. The real hacker kidnapped his daughter and now threatens to kill her in less than 10 minutes. Camilla needs to choose. Save the money from Hector, or save the life of an innocent child. And the hacker is still inside the system, watching every movement of it. The timer was still endo. 09, 12, 09, 11, 09, 10. Christoph was on his knees on the floor, his wet face with tears, his hands shaking. Please. She's only 7 years old. I did everything they sent. Everything. Her voice broke in a hiccup. I didn't want to. They said if I didn't do it, Shut up. Hector cut him cold. You stole 40 million me, destroyed 3 years of work, and now you want me to pity? Christoph raised his eyes, desperate. I have a daughter. Don't you understand? And I have 200 employees who depend on this company to survive, Hector countered, pointing to him. You put them all on the street because you wanted to make easy money. It wasn't like that, Christoph shouted. They came to me. They said they knew things about me, things I did in the past. They said they were going to expose everything, destroy my career, my family, and then kidnapped my daughter to make sure I would obey. Camilla watched the scene in silence. Christoph's despair seemed real. The tears, the tremor, the broken voice. It was not acting. He had been coerced, manipulated, used. But that did not change the fact that a child was in danger, and the timer wouldn't stop. 0842, 0841, 0840. She turned to the terminal, her fingers already typing. Hector, I need full access to the communication server, now. He hesitated. For what? To track where this message came from. If I can locate the IP of origin, I can find out where the girl is. And my money? Hector asked. The voice lasts. Camilla stopped typing. He turned slowly to him. Is your daughter in danger and are you worried about money? It's not my daughter, Hector countered cold. It's his daughter, and he who turns to the consequences of his choices. The silence was sharp. Camilla felt her anger climb. Hot, sharp. She is 7 years old. She didn't choose anything. It did nothing. And if you don't give me access now, it dies. And you will have to live the rest of your life knowing that you could have saved her. But you chose the money. Hector stared at her eyes hard. You don't know what you're talking about. I know exactly what I'm talking about. Camilla looked back. Do you want justice? Want to recover what is yours? Excellent. Me too. but not at the expense of a child's life. The other programmers watched in silence. Some looked away. Others seemed uncomfortable. One of them, the thin with glasses, he throated, "Hector, she's right. If we let the girl die, you leave nothing." Hector cut him. "I make the decisions here, and the priority is to recover my money. Then, we see what to do." Camilla clenched her fists. 8:01:08, Xiao, 07:59. Kristoff let out a hoarse, desperate scream and threw herself at Hector's feet. I beg, do what you want with me later. Process me, hold me, but let the girl try to save my daughter. Please." Hector pushed him with his foot, cold. "Get out of me." Camilla made a decision. Without asking permission, without expecting permission, she turned in the chair and started typing. It invaded the communication system, opened doors that should be blocked, tracked the origin of the message in real time. "What are you doing?" Hector asked, approaching. "My job," she replied, dry. "I didn't authorize you to." "I don't care." Camilla cut him off, without taking his eyes off the screen. "You can sue me later, arrest me, expel me, but now, I'm going to save that girl." Hector opened his mouth to answer, but the blonde programmer, the one who had been silent so far, took a step ahead. "Let her work, Hector." Hector turned to him incredulously. "You too? Did you forget that I pay your salaries? And have you forgotten that there is a child dying?" The blonde countered firmly. "If we don't do anything, let's be accomplices of a murder. I didn't come to Europe. I didn't study 10 years. I didn't build my career to let a girl die because my client is greedy." Hector turned red with anger. "Greedy? I'm trying to save my business. Your company was all ready," the blonde said, tired. 40 millions left. There is no way to recover everything. But the girl's life, this one can still save, if we act now. Hector took a deep breath, the dilated nostrils, the clenched fists. Then it took a step back. "Do what you want," he said, bitter. "But when that is over, you are all fired." Camilla ignored. "I didn't have time for a bilious, wounded pride." Its fingers flew down the keyboard, breaking layers of encryption, tracking masked routes, diverting from false proxies. The hacker was good, very good. I knew how to hide tracks. I knew how to create digital mazes. But Camilla was better. 0623, 0622, 0621. She found the first knot, an intermediate server in Romania. He jumped to him, opened the logs, traced the next layer. According to node, Russia, third knot, Thailand, node room, Brazil. Camilla stopped. "Brazil?" She clicked, opened the IP, wrote a geographical analysis. The sign came from São Paulo, South Zone, a business address. "I thought," she said, her voice tense. "The origin of the signal is in São Paulo. Brigadeiro Luis Antonio Street, 2451. Kristoff lifted his head, his eyes wide. "Yeah, it's close to my house. Do you know this address?" Camilla asked. He shook his head, confused. "No, I never heard of." Camilla opened Google Maps, located the address. It was an old commercial building, 6 floors, several offices. "I need to know who works there," she said. "Hector, do you have access to corporate databases? Registration of companies?" "I have," he replied reluctantly, taking his cell phone. "Why?" "Because who kidnapped his daughter is operating from inside an office in Sao Paulo, and if we find out which office, we can call the police," the glasses programmer added. Hector typed quickly on the phone, accessing private systems. 30 seconds later, he read aloud. "Rua Brigadeiro Luis Antonio, 2451. They have 17 registered companies. Accounting, advocacy, consulting." He stopped. "Wait. One is cybersecurity. Phantom Solutions." Camilla felt the blood freezing. Phantom Grid. The clandestine hacker group she had defeated 5 years ago. They came back, she murmured more to herself. "Who?" Hector asked. Camilla turned to him. "Phantom Grid. It is a hacker collective. They were famous for creating indestructible attacks and challenging engineers to break them. I broke their code in a competition years ago. They disappeared after that. I thought they had given up, or came back to take revenge," the blonde said, dark. Camilla shook her head. "No, they don't know who I am. I used pseudonym in the competition. I never revealed my identity. They can't." The screen blinked. A new message appeared in the Kristoff notebook. "Hello again, Camila Rodriguez." Camilla stopped breathing. They knew her name. The message continued. "Graduated in software engineering from USP. Former neurotech function." Everyone looked at her. "We always knew who you were. We were waiting." Camilla felt the fear rise, cold, by the spine. "You have defeated us once, humbled us. It made us look amateur." The timer continued. 05:11:05, 10:05:09. "Now you choose. Save the money from your boss, or save the girl. You can't do both. Your 5 minutes." A second photo appeared. The girl now had a sail in her eyes, and beside her a masked figure held a gun. Kristoff shouted. Camilla clenched her teeth. "I won't choose." he said firmly. I'm going to do both. Impossible, the glasses programmer said. If you try to track the girl's exact location, you'll waste time, and the money will continue to be transferred. But if you focus on money, the girl dies, Camilla added. I know, but I will not let either happen. How? Hector asked, skeptical. Camilla opened 5 terminals at the same time, divided the screen, left and right hands typing simultaneously. Absurd speed. I'm going to run 2 parallel processes. On the left, I will track the GPS signal from the phone that took the picture. On the right, I will block the transfers and reverse the money. At the same time, the blonde widened her eyes. Nobody can do that. It requires total concentration on both sides. A minimum error, and you lose both. I know, Camilla said without stopping, but it's the only chance. 0412, 0411, 0410. The fingers flew. Code on the left. Right tracking. It divided attention, the brain working at full speed. Sweat dripped by the forehead. The hands hurt, but she didn't stop. On the left, localized GPS signal. Identified cellular tower. Triangulation in progress. On the right, blocked transfers. Offshore accounts identified. Reversal protocol started. Christoph watched his hands together, praying softly. Hector watched, tense. The fixed eyes on the screen. The other programmers watched in silence. Unbelievers. 0303, 0302, 03, 01, and then, error. On the left, the tracking crashed. Double firewall. Blockade. Camilla cursed low. They put a barrier. I can't pass. Give up tracking, Hector said. Focus on the money. No, Christoph begged. Please, my daughter. Camilla took a deep breath. Had an option. Risky. Illegal, but possible. I can break the firewall, he said. But for that I will have to use an exploit that is federal crime. If I do that, I will leave a trail. I will be tracked. I can be arrested. It doesn't matter, Christoph shouted. He does, please. Hector crossed his arms. If you are arrested, it will cost me processes. Are you willing to take responsibility? Camilla stared at him. A child will die. You realize, are you wondering that? Hector did not answer. Camilla made the decision, rounded the exploit. Illegal code. Protected system invasion. Cybercrime. The firewall fell. The tracking continued. 0211, 0210, 02, 09. Complete triangulation. Identified location. Cardinal Arcoverde Street, 1.834. Abandoned shed. West Zone. I thought, Camilla shouted. Cardinal Arcoverde Street, 18834. Call the police now. Hector took the cell phone, died. Hello? Police? I need to report a kidnapping. I have the exact location. As he spoke, Camilla returned to the right side of the screen. Money, transfers, reversal. But something was wrong. The offshore accounts were empty. All the money was gone. Not to an account. Not for 2. For hundreds of micro cornerstack around the world. Instant washing. Impossible to track. No, Camilla whispered. No. What it was? The blonde asked. The money. They moved everything. Fragmented. I can no longer track. Hector hung up his cell phone, pale. How much? Everything, Camilla said, her voice disappearing. The 40 million. Disappeared. Silence. And then, zero. The timer zeroed. The screen was black, and one last message appeared. You chose the girl. Congratulations. But you lost the money. Now Hector knows who you really are, and what you are able to do. See you soon, Camilla. The screen went out. Christoph fell to his knees, tremendously, waiting for police news. Hector turned slowly to Camilla, her dark eyes. You used an illegal exploit on my system. Left trail. It may have compromised my entire network, and it still lost my money. Camilla got up tired. I saved a child. You destroyed my company, Hector countered, cold. And then, before she could answer, Christoph's cell phone rang. He answered, his voice shaking. Hello? Silence. And then he collapsed in tears. She's alive. The police found her. She's alive. He fell to his knees, sobbing, repeating, thank you, like a prayer. But Hector didn't smile. It was not moved. He looked at Camilla, as if she were a threat. Rodrigo, he called the security guard. Take her out and calls the police. I want it attached by system invasion and digital sabotage. Camilla was frozen. You can't. I can, Hector said. And I will. You just committed a federal crime on my server, using my resources, and I have everything recorded. Rodrigo approached, holding Camilla by the arm. Come on, girl. It does not make it difficult. Camilla looked around. The programmers looked away. Christoph still cried, relieved, alien. No one would defend her. She was again invisible. Camilla saved the child, but lost everything. Hector wants to arrest her. The money disappeared, and Phantom Grid made it clear. That is not over. They know Camilla. They are watching, and the next blow is coming. Will she get out of this, or will pay the price for doing the right thing? Rodrigo held Camilla's arm tightly, pulling her toward the door. Come on, girl. It does not force me to use handcuffs. Camilla tried to break free, but the squeeze was firm. His eyes ran through the room, looking for someone, anyone, to say something that cared. Christoph was still on his knees, crying with relief, oblivious to everything. The European programmers looked to the floor, the screens, anywhere other than her. Hector was on his back, dialing his cell phone, cold and mechanical. Hello? Federal Police? I want to report a cybercrime. Invasion of corporate system using illegal exploit. I have the recorded tests and the suspicion is still in place. Camilla felt the floor disappear under her feet. It was that. He finished. She had saved a child. I had done the right thing, and it was going to be arrested for it. The door opened. Rodrigo pushed her into the marble corridor, and then, wait, the voice came from behind. Firm, decided. Everyone turned around. It was the blonde programmer, the one who had defended Camilla minutes ago. He stepped forward, his eyes fixed on Hector. You can't do that. Hector turned slowly, the cell phone still in the ear. How is it? I said you can't do that, the blonde repeated, the tallest voice. She saved a child's life, did what we didn't get, and now you want to arrest it by using a method you authorized yourself when you said, do whatever it takes. Hector hung up the phone, his eyes narrowing. I didn't authorize anything illegal. You said, do whatever it takes, the blonde insisted, in front of witnesses. You gave carta branca, and she used it. If you sue her, I testify to you. Silence. Hector took a step forward. Dangerous. Are you threatening me? I'm warning you, the blonde corrected, because if you do that, I'm going to court, and I will tell you everything, including the fact that you have prioritized money about a child's life, who tried to prevent the rescue, who treated her as a criminal for doing the work we should have done. He crossed his arms. And I will ensure that every newspaper, every technology blog, every social network knows that. You will turn the businessman who wanted to arrest the woman who saved a child. Good luck recovering your reputation after that. The other programmers looked at each other uncomfortable. Hector took a deep breath. The jaw crashed. Are you betting your career in this? I'm betting my dignity, the blonde countered. Something you seem to have forgotten what it is. The silence was dense, sharp, and then Hector made a tired gesture with his hand. She releases Rodrigo. The security guard hesitated. But sir, loose. Rodrigo dropped Camilla's arm, taking a step back. She rubbed her wrist, still in shock, looking at the blonde programmer with silent gratitude. Hector turned to her, her cold eyes. You have an hour, 60 minutes to find my money. If I can't, I won't arrest you, but I will sue you all the penny of damage you have caused. And I will guarantee that you never work in technology again. Understood? Camilla swallowed dry. Understanding. Then come back and work. She returned to the table, her shaky legs, her heart fast. He sat in the chair, pulled the keyboard, and realized something. The phantom grid message was still open on the Christoph notebook. See you soon, Camilla. See you soon. No goodbye. No, you lost. See you soon. They were going back. Camilla opened a new terminal, reread the message, analyzed the metadata of the file, and saw something that had gone unnoticed before. A hidden code. Embedded in the very image of the message. Steganography, information hidden within pixels. She extracted the code, ran a decoder, and read, Phantom Protocol, V7, BART Node, Master, Internal, Target Mars Secondy, BART Neurotech. Camilla stopped breathing. Neurotech, your old company, the place that had fired it, who had ignored his warnings, who had spoken 6 months later for a cyber attack. It was not an accident. Phantom Grid had attacked Neurotech, had destroyed the company, on purpose, and now I was attacking Hector. But why? She rolled the code more, and found. List D, Alvos, Neurotech, 2022, Mendes, Corp, 2025, Silvera, Holdings, 2026. They had a list. Specific companies, planned attacks, years in advance. Camilla clicked on the next hidden file, and saw a spreadsheet, with names, dates, values, and at the top, highlighted, Investors do Project Exodus. She knew that name. He had heard years ago, in underground technology circles, a secret project, illegal, something about financial market manipulation using AI and coordinated attacks, and the names on the list, Hector Mendes, Bernardo Silveira, and Eduardo Campos. Camilla felt her stomach turn. Eduardo Campos was former Neurotech IT director, the man who had fired her, the man who had ignored his warnings. He was on the investor list. Everything connected. Phantom Grid was not just stealing money. It was destroying investors from an illegal project, one by one, systematically, and Camilla had been used as a piece on the board. She got up, turning to Hector. Did you invest it in a project called Exodus? Hector was pale. Like you. Responds. Camilla pressed. He hesitated. He looked at the programmers. Then he sighed, defeated. Yes, 3 years ago. It was an opportunity. A group of technology investors promised a return of 300%, something about financial market AI. But then, the project disappeared. The organizers disappeared. We lost contact. It didn't disappear, Camilla said. Someone is killing the project, and everyone who invested in him, one by one. The programmers looked at each other, confused. The blonde stepped ahead. Are you saying this is not just about stealing money? Is it about revenge? Or justice? Camilla corrected. Depending on the point of view, the Exodus project was illegal. Market manipulation, money laundering, automated insider trading, and she pointed to Hydor. They financed it. Hector got red. I didn't know. They presented me as a legitimate investment. No matter what you knew, Camilla cut him. It matters what you did, and now someone is charging the bill. Christoph, who had finally stopped crying, got up. So they didn't take my daughter for money? It was to force me to attack the Hector because of this Exodus? Camilla nodded. You were coerced. They knew you were vulnerable. That would do anything for your daughter, and they used it. Christoph covered his face with his hands. My God. Camilla returned to the terminal. If Phantom Grid was destroying Exodus investors, so they had not over. There were even more targets on the list. And if she could track the next target, could anticipate their movement. His fingers flew down the keyboard. She hacked the Phantom communication system, using the hidden code as a gateway. Risky, illegal, but necessary, and found. A encrypted conversation. Recent, 2 hours ago. Mendes neutralized. Next Alv, Silvera. Date, today, 18 Hazara. Camilla looked at the watch on the wall. 5:42 p.m., 18 minutes. Hector, do you know Bernardo Silvera? He nodded. Tense. I know. He also invested in Exodus. Why? Because he's the next one. And the attack will happen in 18 minutes. Silence. The glasses programmer step ahead. How do you know? Because I'm inside their system. Camilla showed the screen. They plan everything in advance, and I just saw the next move. Hector took the cell phone, dialing fast. Bernardo, it's me, Hector. Listen, you need to turn off all your systems now. You are about to be attacked. No, it's no joke. It is the same group that attacked me. He stopped, listening. What? Have you started? How long ago? Camilla saw his face lose color. Hector hung up, his hands shaking. They already attacked. 5 minutes ago. He's trying to contain, but you can't, Camilla added. Not alone. She opened a new window, created a direct communication bridge with Silvera holding servers. Remote invasion. Risky. But if she could get in, it achieved. And saw the chaos. The attack was identical. Double ransomware. Persistent rootkit. Money being drained in real time. But she already knew the pattern. I already knew how to fight. His fingers flew. Code running in 3 terminals at the same time. Blocking of doors. Isolation of malicious processes. Reversal of permissions. The programmers watched, gaping. Is she fighting a live attack on a network that isn't even hers? The blonde murmured. Remotely. The glasses added incredulously. Without authorization. Without prior access. She is improvising a cyber defense in real time. Camilla ignored the comments. Total focus. Hands hurting. Sweat dripping. And then, it achieved. The attack was contained. The transfers were blocked. The money was frozen. She took a deep breath, shaking with exhaustion. Okay, he said, his voice hoarse. Silvera is safe. Hector looked at her, the expression between shock and respect. You just saved his company. And yours, Camilla countered. Because now I know how they operate. I know the pattern. And I know where they will attack next. How? The blonde asked. Camilla pointed to the screen, where the list of targets was still open. Because they left the complete list. 13 companies. 13 investors from Exodus, and if I can alert everyone before the attacks, I can prevent Phantom from completing their revenge. Christoph got up, the hesitant voice. And what about my money? Haters' money, can you recover? Camilla hesitated. Perhaps, if I can track the origin of Phantom, the person behind everything. If I get the leader, I can negotiate the return. But you don't know who you are, Hector said. Not yet, Camilla admitted, but I know where to look. She opened the source code of the attack, analyzed the digital signature, crossed code writing patterns, and saw something familiar, very familiar, a programming style she knew. I had studied, that had faced before. It wasn't just Phantom Grid, it was someone specific within the group, someone who wrote code in a unique way, almost poetic, precise lines, elegant, minimalist. She had seen that style only once, in the hacker competition, 5 years ago, the leader of Phantom Grid, pseudonym, Ghostkey, and she had defeated him. Camilla felt her heart accelerate. It was personal. Ghostkey was not attacking investors for justice. I was attacking her, using companies as bait, waiting for her to appear. That revealed and she had fallen into the trap. Before you could warn others, the main screen blinked. All the screens in the room light up at the same time, and an image appeared. A white mask, digital, ghostly, and a distorted androgynous voice echoed through the speakers. "Hello, Camilla. Some time ago." Everyone looked at her. The voice continued. "Do you remember me? Ghost Key. You defeated me, humiliated me, made Phantom Grid look amateur, and then disappeared. A break. But I never forgot. And now, you will pay, not only with your freedom, but with your reputation, your dignity, all." The image has changed. A video appeared. Camilla, using illegal exploit on the Hater server. Recorded, edited, with timestamp. Irrefutable proof of cybercrime. The voice laughed low. "I already sent this to the federal police, for the media, for all your former neurotech colleagues. In 5 minutes you will be the most sought-after criminal in the country. The delivery hacker who broke into companies and stole millions." Pause. "And there's nothing you can do to stop it." The screen went out. Absolute silence. And then, Hator's cell phone rang. He answered, pale. "Hello? Yes, it's me. What? A video? Where?" He looked at Camilla. His eyes rolled Tatus. No, she didn't. She was helping me, but the call had already fallen." The glasses programmer looked at his cell phone. "Hater, it's on all news sites. Delivery invades corporate system and steals 40 million. Christoph showed his cell phone. "My God, there is even a picture of her." Camilla closed her eyes. He finished. Ghost Key had won. Then Camilla was exposed to the world as a criminal. The video leaked. The police are on their way. Your life is over. But Ghost Key made a mistake, left a track in the video, a single failure, and Camilla, even destroyed, realized, now she has one last chance, or dies trying. Camilla opened her eyes. Everyone looked at her, waiting for her to collapse, to cry. That gave up, but she didn't collapse. It took a deep breath. He returned to the screen and watched the video again, frame by frame, second per second. "What are you doing?" Hector asked, tense. "The police should be on their way. You need to escape." "I won't run away," Camilla said, her eyes fixed on the screen. "Because Ghost Key made a mistake." The blonde programmer approached. "What error?" Camilla paused the video in a specific frame, expanded, pointed to the upper right corner. There, timestamp. The recording shows 5:23 p.m. She opened another window, showing the system logs. But server records show that exploit was executed at 5:31 p.m., 8 minutes apart. The glasses programmer frowned. "It can be just clock de-synchronization. System error." "No," Camilla said, expanding more. "Look at the code on the video screen. He is running the rmrf-var log command. It is a log cleaning command. It's not the exploit I used." She turned to them. "This video was edited. Ghost Key took a legitimate recording of something else and stuck the exploit over, but did not adjust the details." Silence. Hector took a step forward. "Can you prove it?" "I can," Camilla said, her fingers already typing. "If I can access the original metadata from the video file, I can show that it was tampered with." She hacked the server where the video had been published. Illegal invasion again, but it didn't matter anymore. It was all at stake. Found the original file, lowered, opened in a hexadecimal editor, and saw. The video had been rendered just 40 minutes ago, long after the alleged crime, and the software used for editing left a digital signature, Adobe Premiere Pro, license, K. Anderson. K. Anderson. Camilla took a quick search. The name appeared in corporate records. Christian Anderson, Danish software engineer, former Neurotech employee, former Neurotech. She turned to Hector. "Do you know someone named Christian Anderson?" Hector shook his head. "No." "Why?" "Because he edited the video, and he worked at Neurotech, my old company." Camilla felt everything fitting. Ghost Key is not a group, it is a person, and that person knows me. He worked with me, and when I denounced the safety flaws, he must have been fired along with the company when she went bankrupt. Christoph, still sitting on the floor, raised his head. "So, then he blames you for destroying the company where he worked?" "I didn't destroy," Camilla corrected firmly. "I warned. They who did not hear. And when the company fell, he must have decided that it was my fault, that I sabotaged everything by exposing the flaws." She returned to the terminal. "And now he's trying to destroy me the same way." The blonde crossed his arms. "But you haven't proved he's Ghost Key." "Not yet," Camilla admitted, "but I'll prove it. Now." It opened the IP records of the video publication, tracked the origin. He went through 3 proxies, 5 VPNs, 7 layers of masking, and arrived at the original address. Rua Cardoso de Almeida, 1156, Sao Paulo, apartment 704. She wrote a public search at the address. Name of the registered resident, Christian Anderson. Bingo. "I thought," Camilla said, showing the screen. Ghost Key is Christian Anderson, and he's operating from an apartment in Sao Paulo. Now, Hector took the cell phone. I'll call the police. Give the address. They hold him and— No, Camilla interrupted him. If the police arrive before, he erases everything, destroys the tests, and I'm still the criminal. I need to get into his system before, recover the original files, show that the video was forged, and expose it as the true hacker. Can you do that? The blonde asked. Camilla looked at the screen. For the codes, for the challenges he had faced in the last few hours. Yes, she created a reverse attack, used Christian's IP as a point of entry. He explored a vulnerability in the software he had used to mask the location, and entered, on his computer, live, saw the files, edited videos, attack records, lists of targets, conversations with Christoph, threats to his daughter, all, and in the center a folder called Revenge Camilla. She laughed. Inside there was years of information about her, photos, employment records, interviews rejected, ignored curricula, a complete dossier, and a text file, Manifesto DXT. Camilla opened, read in silence. She destroyed my career. It made me look incompetent. It made everyone believe she was the victim and we the villains. But now she will know what it's like to be destroyed, being humiliated, being invisible. Tears climbed the eyes of Camilla, not of sadness, but with anger, of tiredness. How many times have she been guilty of doing the right thing? How many times had it been invisible, ignored, discarded, just to see the men who underestimated her to blame her for her own flaws? But now not. Now she had the tests. He copied everything, each file, each record, each message, and sent it to a safe server, encrypted, inaccessible to Christian. Then he opened a direct communication window with his computer and typed a message. Hi Christian, it's me, Camilla. The delivery you underestimated. The answer came in seconds. Like you left your digital signature in the video, used Adobe registered on your behalf, operated from your residential IP, and saved everything in a file called Revenge Camilla. You're smart, but not as smart as you think. Pause. Then, it doesn't matter. The video has already leaked. You're already criminal. Your life is over. Camilla smiled sadly. It's not over, because I have everything, every file, every test, every record of yours. And in 30 seconds, I will send everything to the federal police, to the media, and to your former Phantom Grid colleagues you cheated on when you decided to do it yourself. Longer silence. You wouldn't do that. Do you really think I wouldn't do it? After all you did? Camilla clicked. Sent the full package. Collective email, police, press, cybersecurity forums, all technology sites, and lastly for Bernardo Silveira and the other targets on the list, warning them, protecting them. In 5 minutes, Christian Anderson, Ghost Key, would be the most sought-after man in Brazil. His screen blinked, he noticed, and sent a last message, typed with anger, typing errors, despair. You'll regret it, I swear I will. The message stopped. His system crashed. Camilla had blocked everything. And then, sirens, outside, approaching, not from Heitor's company, but from Christian's apartment. The police had received the dossier, with GPS location, irrefutable evidence, instant arrest warrant. Camilla leaned back in her chair, exhausted, trembling. It's over, he said, his voice disappearing. Hector approached slowly. He looked at the screen, for the tests, for everything she had done. You saved my company, saved a child, exposed an international criminal, and cleaned his own name. All in. He looked at the clock. 2 hours. Camilla didn't answer. It was too tired. The blonde put his hand on her shoulder. You are incredible. The glasses nodded. The best engineer I've ever seen. Christoph got up, approached, and knelt in front of her. Thanks, he said, the voice broken. You saved my daughter, my life. I will never forget. Camilla looked at him, and finally let the tears fall, not of pain, but of relief. 3 weeks later, Camilla was in front of the bathroom mirror, straightening the white blouse. It was no longer the red uniform. It was a social shirt, with the logo embroidery of Mendes Corp. Hector had called 2 days after the incident. He apologized, offered a job, director of cybersecurity, salary 6 times larger than anything she had earned before, and more importantly, respect. She had accepted, not because I needed to prove something, but because it deserved it. The office door opened. Hector came in smiling. Meeting in 5 minutes. Investors want to meet you. They want to know how you saved 13 coordinated attack companies. Camilla smiled back. I just did my job. Your work saved billions, Hector corrected, and exposed the largest corporate sabotage operation of the decade. He paused. Christian was sentenced to 18 years, without possibility of parole, and the money, almost everything was recovered. 37 million. They returned to the company. Camilla nodded. You knew, had accompanied the trial, seen Christian being taken handcuffed, seen the media by calling it the most dangerous hacker in the country, and seen your own name being clean. Heroin engineer exposes fraud and saves millions. Camila Rodriguez, from delivery to security director, the woman who defeated Ghost Key. She didn't like fame, but I liked the truth. And Christoph? He asked. He was not sued, Hector said. Proven coercion. His daughter's in therapy but safe, and he is working for us now. Under your supervision. He said he wants to learn from you. Camila smiled sadly. Everyone deserves one Gunda chance. You deserved a first chance, Hector countered. Really? And it took years to give you. But now you have everything. Respect, recognition, and a team that admires you. She looked out the window. Down below, the city moved. Deliveries ran. People ignored. Life continued. But for her, she had changed. Not because it was rich now, not because it was famous, but because it had proven to herself that had never been invisible. It had only been ignored. And ignoring someone doesn't make that person disappear. It makes the ignorant lose the chance to see the greatness in front of him all the time. In the meeting room, 10 minutes later, Camila entered. 20 businessmen, investors, CEOs. Everyone looked at her, and this time, no one laughed. No one underestimated. No one asked, "What is your formation?" with disdain. They got up. They applauded. And Hector, next to her, said aloud, "Gentlemen, this is Camila Rodriguez, the woman who saved us all, the woman who proved that no matter where you come from, it matters what you are." And he looked at her with genuine respect. "It's the best." Camila took a deep breath. He looked at everyone, and he said firmly, "I didn't come here to be applauded. I came to work, because I was always good. I was always capable. You just needed to see me." She paused. "And many of you don't see people like me yet. Black women, delivery, peripheral. You think we have nothing to offer, but the truth is that many times, the person who will save your business is delivering your food, directing your Uber, cleaning your office, and if you don't learn to see, you will keep losing." Silence. And then one of the CEOs, an older gray man, he stood up. "You're right," he said, his voice hoarse. "And I apologize. Every time I didn't see, I didn't hear, that I underestimated." He reached out. "Thanks for saving us and for teaching us." Camila squeezed his hand. "Don't thank me. Learn." And he left the room with his head. 6 months later, Camila was on the 23rd floor of the Mendez Corp building, looking out the window when they knocked on the door. "Enter," she said without turning. It was Christoph, holding a folder. "I finished the report you asked," he said, shy. "Vulnerabilities analysis of the new system. I found 3 flaws. I've already corrected 2. The third, I need your approval." Camila took the folder, read, smiled. "Great job." He hesitated. Can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Why did you defend me? After all that happened, I put you at risk. I almost destroyed you. And you convinced the Hector not to sue me. Gave me a job. It gave me a chance. Why?" Camila turned, looking into his eyes. "Because I know what it's like to be judged for the worst moment of your life, and I know what it's like to give you a second chance." She paused. "You made a mistake, but it was coerced, and now it's trying to fix it. It matters." Christoph swallowed dry, his eyes teary. "Thanks," he whispered. She nodded. "Now go." Corrects the 3rd failure, and then it brings coffee. It will be a long night. He smiled and left. Camila returned to the window, and thought. In everything it had passed, at closed doors, in the curricula ignored, in the humiliations, in the days delivering food under rain, invisible, underestimated. But he also thought of the victories, small and large, in the saved girl, in the recovered money, in the arrested criminal, actually exposed, and more importantly, in the respect achieved, not given, conquered, because she was always good. I just needed someone to really look at, and now, she was the person who looked. I saw. That gave chances. That didn't let anyone get invisible. And this is the story of how a black delivery, humiliated, underestimated, and discarded, saved an empire, not with luck, not with magic, but with competence, with courage, and with the certainty that the world does not define who you are. You define, because in the end, those who ignored you will regret it, and those who saw you will thank you. Dame, the final reflection. The lesson here is not about revenge, it is about dignity. Camila didn't have to scream to be heard. He didn't need to take revenge to be respected. She just needed to be excellent. And that was enough. How many times do we judge someone for clothes, for the work, by skin color? How many times did we lose a chance to know greatness? Why were we too busy being prejudiced? Hector almost destroyed a heroine. Because you thought you knew more. Because it thought money was worth more than character. He learned, the worst way. But you don't have to learn like this. Just remember, the person who will save your life may be delivering your food, and if you don't really look, You'll never know. Now it's with you. So, what did you think of this story, would you? Have you already underestimated someone and regret? It has already been underestimated and proved that they were all wrong? Count here in the comments, and it tells me, from 0 to 10, what grade do you give to this story? If you liked it, leave the like. You loved it, share, and you subscribe to the channel, because every week has new history, stories of injustice, turnaround, and justice. Stories that make you feel. Until next time, and remember, never underestimate who is in invisibility, because one day, this person can be your salvation.